Okay, so if you're new here, hi, I'm Hannah. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Some of you may know, and if you don't, then you're about to know, that I've been doing a little Beauty 101 series here on my YouTube channel where I show you guys basic makeup application tips and how-to things, because I get a lot of question about like basic things. So I decided a few months ago now that I was going to kind of take it back to the basics and show you guys like the basic steps of makeup. And I've already done a video on foundation, I've done one on concealer, I've done one on blush, bronzer, and today I'm going to show you guys how to apply highlighter. So if you guys want to see how I apply my highlighter, this will be pretty quick and easy, then stay tuned. Okay, so for this video, I'm going to be using this highlighter from Wet n Wild. This is the loose highlighting powder in the shade, what shade is this? I'm So Lit. And I'm also going to use a highlighting brush from Wet n Wild. This is from the Bretman Rock collection. I think this is really good for highlighting, and this is one of my favorite highlighters. It's so good. It is like a loose powder, but you'll see, it's amazing. So let's dip in. Without spilling this, I'm going to show you. There's so much highlighter in here, like this will seriously last forever. I don't even dip into this part. I literally just use the cap and whatever is on the cap. So I'm going to take my brush, which is just like a big fluffy, almost like eyeshadow brush. I really love this for highlighter though, but you can use whatever brush you prefer. I just prefer a brush like this for my highlighter application when I'm using a powder highlighter, because there are cream highlighters and liquid highlighters out there as well, but for today's video I'm just using a powder highlighter, and this is the brush that I would use for a powder. So I dip into the cap. As you can see, there's quite a bit of powder in there, dust, highlighter, whatever. And then I always make sure, because as you can see now there's a lot of product on my brush, so I always make sure to tap off the excess product. So I tap off the excess powder just back into the cap, and then you want to apply highlight to the highest points of your face, starting in the typical area, which would be along the cheekbone. So I'm going to place my brush, and I'm holding the brush on purpose at the very end, because I feel like if you hold it here, you're going to apply it a lot heavier. If you want to apply it heavy, then go ahead. If you feel better holding your brush here, then that's fine. But I purposely hold it at the bottom so that I apply it very lightly, because I personally like to apply it lightly. And then I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm just really gently dusting this right here on the top of my cheekbone, and then I drag it out just kind of like right here. So like, I don't even know how to describe this, but kind of just like right diagonal across from kitty corner, whatever, to the corner of my eye, the outer corner of my eye. So I'm starting here, and look how pretty this highlighter is, by the way. It's so gorgeous. I love like a natural glowy highlighter. I don't really like a chunky highlighter, but whatever you prefer, do you. And then I just lightly drag the brush back and forth, really lightly, very little pressure, and using swiping motions. And then I'm going to repeat that same step on the other side of my face. And the reason you're going to highlight the highest points of your face is because that's all the points of your face that the sun would hit if you were in the sun. And obviously highlighter is supposed to give you like the illusion of like light hitting your face and it accentuating those areas of your face. And then I also like to highlight up here on my forehead. Sometimes I'll highlight like directly above the arch of my eyebrow just to give my face like a nice pretty glow. And then sometimes I'll even take this, depending on my mood, I don't know, also just depends on the look you're going for, I guess. Sometimes I'll just put it right here in the center of my forehead, and when I'm applying highlight to my forehead, I want to apply it very lightly. I don't want to put a bunch up here because you can end up looking greasy or sweaty instead of glowy. There's really a fine line between like glowy and sweaty or oily looking, so I always apply very little up here, but I still want to look glowy. You can get away with applying it heavier right here in this area, but up here you want to be careful because You don't want to look like you're like sweating. I mean, unless you're going for that look, then whatever, but there's no rules. This is just what I personally like to do. And then I also take a little bit more on my brush. I will highlight down the bridge of my nose because I like to accentuate that. And this can kind of thin out the nose as well. Sometimes I'll highlight the tip of my nose. I have to be careful because I have a very round, I hate this word that I'm about to use, but bulbous nose, so I don't want to make it look even bigger and rounder than it is, but sometimes I will highlight the very tip of my nose as well as the bridge. And then I also like to highlight my chin a little bit. I have a weak chin, so this kind of like brings it out a little bit. And obviously the areas that you highlight, you know, are going to be whatever your preference is. Maybe you don't want to highlight your chin. Maybe you don't want to highlight your forehead. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. If you've never highlighted those areas, I definitely suggest playing around with it. Some people like to highlight the Cupid's bow area. I don't really like to do that. Sometimes I will, but I feel like sometimes it makes me look like I have like upper lip sweat, you know, like I'm nervous. So I don't always do that, but sometimes I will. And then I also like to highlight, I'll take a separate brush. This is a smaller, oops, I just smacked myself with it. This is a smaller eyeshadow brush, kind of dense. It's not very fluffy. I'll take a little bit of that highlighter on the brush, tap it out, and then I will place it into the inner corner of my eye. I will apply it a little heavier in this specific area because I really want the inner corner of my eye to pop. I just feel like it looks good. It kind of brightens up your eyes. So that's another place that I like to highlight. Gives you a nice little eye twinkle. And then using that same smaller, denser brush, and you'd want to use a smaller, denser brush for more precision when you're trying to apply highlighter in a more precise or smaller area. I like to also put it right here under the arch of my eyebrow, just to highlight my eyebrow a little bit, which mine is already a little bit highlighted because of the lighter concealer that I used to cut my eyebrows earlier. But sometimes if I want a little bit of a glow, I will also put the highlighter in this area. And I think it just looks nice, looks pretty, brightens up the eye, and that's it. That's how I apply highlighter to my face. I hope you guys enjoyed this mini little how-to makeup tutorial, how to apply highlighter. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below in the comment section. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. You guys, please subscribe. Please subscribe. I check my analytics and it says that most of the people who watch, like 80% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So please subscribe because you'd really help me out. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!